Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of 1st of July. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, great. Let's have a look at ES. ES is moving up towards the double bottom target, which is in the 75.94 to 76.03 range. And on NQ, we've now had this double bottom, which is broken up. It's got an extension target, which is up at, hang on, wait a second. 31,284, but the main target is obviously the retest of the all-time high. So that is looking pretty promising. In terms of the stats, we've now got through into the first of the month, and we've got a very, very strong series of historical days this month. We've got today we've got the strongest, which is a 90% green, and looking for that to close up today. We've got tomorrow is neutral, Friday is a holiday, of course. Next week, we've basically got no bearish leaning days until the 21st, I think. We've got bearish leaning days next week on Monday, Thursday. Sorry, bullish leaning days on Monday, Thursday, and Friday next week. Following week, which is the week starting the 13th, we've got bullish leaning days on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. And the last in the series is a bullish day on Monday the 20th, with the first bearish day and the first bearish day of July on the 21st, and then we've got basically it's neutral with neutral neither way for the rest of the month. So we've now got a 20-day period, which is historically pretty bullish. Now, in terms of the Iran peace deal, it's increasingly obvious that no one is sincerely actually expecting any peace to come out of this. Very clear on the American side, pretty clear. Actually, it was already clear on the Iranian side. They said they didn't trust the Americans at all, and they were just in it to get as much money out as they could in the short term. So they're selling lots of oil to the Chinese, and they are extracting as much as they can of their frozen funds. But I think beyond that, I don't think anyone is expecting this to actually deliver a peace deal. But it does look as though the peace deal is expected to, the negotiations are expected to last into the deadline on the 18th of August. And there is talk that the US may be planning to keep the ceasefire going until the midterms, which obviously I think is in November. So I'm going to talk separately about the effect that will likely have on oil stocks and so on and so forth. But this gives us a clear run, I think. So to see what the market can do on the upside over the next 3 weeks, because we've certainly got a very decent 3-week period there. I'm still expecting to see retests of the all-time highs on SPX and the Qs, and I'm not expecting it necessarily to stall there. We shall see. So RTY still hanging around near the highs, YM still hanging around near the highs, DAX will probably during this period see a retest of the all-time high as well. ESTX still near the all-time highs, and Nikkei, I've got a nice looking bull flag here, which is breaking up towards a retest of the all-time high. So looking at the bigger picture charts on ES, where I haven't marked in the new, it's the only one which I've actually forgotten to mark in the, sorry, I'll just do that quickly now. The new monthly pivot, which is, I'm sending out the new monthly pivot with the morning email, and I've got the new monthly pivot at 75.11.42, so I'm just going to mark that in where I remember. 5.11.50. I marked that in slightly differently because, of course, it trades in quarters. So that is where we are there. Obviously, we are currently above it. Obviously, we broke back over the daily middle band yesterday. And that, as I was saying, was the first step on the way to a retest of the high. In terms of the SPX chart, we did the same break over. I'd already marked that in, I'm pretty sure. 74, yeah, I had. So no current divergence here apart from the daily RSI 14 sell signals, and we may well see those play out later, but there's no reason we can't go and retest the all-time high first. Nothing to see on the hourly chart really, nothing to see on the 15-minute chart really. So a little RSI 5 sell signal fix there. Or Is that? No, that's still brewing actually. Looking at the keys, we broke back over the daily middle band with some force yesterday there. Again, I'm expecting to see a retest of the all-time high. In terms of the hourly chart, no current divergence. We haven't broken over the declining resistance, but then that is a very shallow declining resistance trend line. In terms of the hourly chart, hang on, wait a second. Obviously, that buy signal made target. We've got a little RSI 5, and we've actually got no divergence there. So we've got a little RSI 5 sell signal, which is fixed. Sorry, all right. So really nothing to see here. First of the month, bullish tape ready for the next 20 days. Not expecting to see anything serious happen in the war in that time, although I think there's a big question mark about when oil shortages are going to bite, because really, traffic through the Strait of Hormuz has not returned to normal, and reserves realistically are still dropping. But, for the moment, everyone's ignoring that. We may as well. So dire, still close to the highs. Nothing on the hourly chart, nothing on the 15-minute chart, because really this latest retracement and consolidation has all been on the tech. So mainly affecting Qs and SPX. IWM close to the highs, no current negative divergence on the RSI 5, nothing really happening on the hourly chart, and nothing happening on the 15-minute chart either. We do have these rising wedges, and it may be that we're going to break up and establish new trend lines to the upside. That wouldn't astonish me at this stage. All right, looking at DAX, I'm leaning towards seeing a retest of the high. We are back over the daily middle band, and looking at, which chart's that, by the way? Okay, right, yeah. And looking at Nikkei, I'm looking for we back tested the daily middle band there, and I'm expecting to see a retest of the high there too. All right, looking at DX. DX, this looks like a bull flag, which I'm leaning towards seeing a retest of this high here soon, and we've got higher targets from there, which I'm not seeing any particular reason to think that we won't be proceeding towards. In terms of USD, we've got a little level top here, which is breaking down with a target at a retest of the low here, so I'm expecting to see that shortly. GBP USD, I'm wondering about a possible IHS forming here, which might be saying something different about what happens after that low gets retested on USD and the high retested on DX. The USD JPY, we got a 60-minute sell signal fixed. Finally made it back to 162, but I think people are a little concerned that the bank may be about to intervene, and there's some nervousness from that. I'm thinking this can go considerably higher. I'll talk more about this on the bigger picture, which I'll be recording later this morning because I was doing pivots earlier. All right, USD CAD, close to the highs. Australian dollar, possible short-term bottoming action. NZ, possible short-term bottoming action. Had a little double bottom here, which hasn't quite made target, but it wasn't a great setup. In terms of the oil chart, retested some lows yesterday, and that was actually really important. Let's have a look and see why. Now, in terms of overall optimism about the peace process, it is low. This is where we were before, there was the peace process imminent and etc. This is the odds of the Strait of Hormuz traffic returning to normal by July 31. Then it got all the way up to 63%, and now it's all the way back down to 31. So it's almost back where it was before there was serious talk of a peace deal. And that's partially because this isn't a peace deal. One reason I was wondering why the US had signed such obviously humiliating terms, and I think that's mainly because they had absolutely no intention of them developing into any kind of agreement. So I think that's basically we're looking at an extension of the ceasefire here, but it does look like it might last several more weeks. It doesn't look like we're going to see the Strait of Hormuz returning back to normal anytime soon. Now, where does that leave us on oil? Well, we saw overnight, not quite a low retest here, so we don't have any positive divergence here. But what I was looking for in terms of the RSI 5, particularly getting back into the 30 area, and ideally the RSI 14 as well, we didn't get that on either of the rallies, which took us $5 or $6. It took a couple of days where we went up slowly, just $2 or $3 to get us that return. So we're now at the stage where we can actually form an RSI 5 buy signal. We're not going to get one of those on Brent until we see a retest of that low there at 71.4. But on WTIC, we've already got one brewing. and we retested this little low here. It isn't a great signal, as ideally it would probably go down a little lower to develop it more, but I'm thinking we're now at a stage where we've got potential buy signals growing, and really this price is insane. It's got back to where it was before the war, pretty much, or at least in the higher level of that. So this is basically the war starting when it was about 65. So, and maybe it'll go the rest of the way. But it's insane. It really is. The straightforward reserves are still dropping. This is the first ever oil crisis in history. That has obviously a history that goes back about 60 years or something. But but it's the first oil crisis in history where we haven't seen the market pricing in the risk going forward, and that's just not something we're seeing here at all. But it remains to be seen when we're actually going to start seeing significant disruptions from it, but it's probably going to be within weeks. Even with the Chinese having pulled out of the market, that's the chart of the day today. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm liking a big rally starting soon. That could be starting now. We've got a little IHS here on heating oil. This has broken up on the futures chart overnight. In terms of gas oil, this has come down a lot less far, and we're at an obvious support level to break, even if this turns into a head and shoulders, which takes us down later, and we're still on an RSI 5 buy signal. Looking at natural gas, we are still kicking around under the 200 DMA, and that is the main resistance here. So we'll see whether it can get through it. In the meantime, if we don't get through it, we're probably forming a double top to take this lower. All right, let's have a look at the precious metals, and on GC, we've got, hang on, let's just have a quick look through the alleys. So you can see there's no current positive divergence here, but if we retest the overnight lows on Brent and CL, we could get some 60-minute buy signal spray. RBOB, nice looking double bottom here. HO has broken up from an IHS with a target in the 3.525 area. NG is still kicking around near the recent highs, and we've got a ceiling above, so we see whether we get through it. GC, we've got a very nice looking potential double bottom here. Might need a little lower. This looks like a bear flag forming on SI. It's a lot like a bear flag forming on SI, and the 60-minute sell signal has reached a possible near miss target. Nice looking overall double bottom on palladium, platinum. Nice looking little double bottom here too. This is looking pretty nice. It's only silver that's the odd one out. Otherwise, this is actually a pretty nice setup to reverse back up. Maybe it is enough. HG, we've got a double top which is broken down here with a target in the 5.66 area. We are retracing a bit on that at the moment and rallying, but it kind of looks like a bear flag setting up another move down. We shall see. All right, let's have a look at KC. KC has broken up from an IHS with a target in the 3.317.70 area. Hang on. Try and miss the word area around there. And I'm currently seeing a lot to suggest that isn't going to make target, but we do have a 60-minute sell signal which is fixed overnight. Sugar, nice rally here, reached a potential inverted head and shoulder neckline, which we may be forming a right shoulder on. CC, we've gone higher, but this looks like a little bull flag forming. Lumber, still kicking around. Weak 60-minute buy signal fixed, but not really delivered a lot so far. CT didn't retest the lows, but we did retest the lows as I expected on wheat, so we've got a nice looking double bottom there. On corn, so we've got a nice looking double bottom there. On soy, we didn't quite retest the low either, and this could be just a larger flag forming. ZL, we had a little bear flag which has broken down, and we've now got a nice looking little double bottom set up. Live cattle, still looking for a retest of this high here in the 25150 area, and HE, this looks very much like a bear flag forming. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. All right, my pleasure as always. I think that's everything then. So everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, cheers.